Do you practice the act of giving something up for the season of Lent? In a recent study conducted by Lifeway Research, they discovered that 3/4 of Americans do not observe Lent at all. I was initially surprised by this, and then later, when I thought about it, not surprised at all. In this episode, number 94, titled "It's Not About the Chocolate," I want to talk about the fading tradition of giving something up for Lent, and hopefully give you a different perspective on why this tradition that seems to be going by the wayside of so many Christian practices should be reinstated. Welcome to Longing for More, where Christians come to strengthen their faith, revive their soul, and learn to live their lives with a sense of fulfillment and peace. Listen each week to learn how to incorporate your faith into your daily activities, stop wandering through life feeling empty and unfulfilled, and begin to live your more. Let's get started. Having grown up in a Reformed church, we didn't focus much on Lent. I'd never really heard this idea of giving something up until I was well into junior high, and honestly, I never really got the concept behind it. When I married into the Lutheran Church, I quickly embraced this season of Lent and, in fact, fell in love with the beautiful Lenten services. Along the way, I went all in on the idea of making a sacrifice for Jesus during this season, where we are to focus on the sacrifice He made for us. But honestly, I still didn't really get what it was all about. I'm sure I could have asked, but it was easy enough to just jump on the bandwagon when others started giving things up for this season of Lent. I've given up things like chocolate, desserts, beer. That was the hardest by far. I've even tried to clear the clutter in my life each day during Lent one year. I know many people who swear off these things or even got off social media for the 40 days or many other things one consider as a sacrifice. My favorite Lenten practice in recent years has been to take on an additional devotional for the season. Last year, a friend of mine shared with me one by Matthew Kelly called The Best Lent Ever. I probably shared it on this show then because I really enjoyed it a lot. I'm doing it again this year, and I'm already blown away by the insights I've gained in this 1 week. In it, along with my regular devotion and this week's sermon at church, it all came together to inspire this episode of the show. Whether you participate in the Lenten tradition or not, I hope you'll listen on. You see, all 3 of my resources touch on how Lent represents the 40 days that Jesus fasted in the desert before his ministry began, and how it is connected to the temptations that Satan put him through. It's been a great learning experience for me, and together they've helped me see that I've been looking at it all wrong. Instead of picking something that would help me focus on Christ, I've been picking things that have pointed back to me and the sacrifice I've been making. I can't tell you how proud I've been when I've succeeded avoiding that thing that I've given up that year. Or, on the reverse, how disappointed I was in myself when I couldn't do it or simply gave up trying. I don't remember ever taking the time to simply stop and pray about what it was that I was trying to do or not do that was so difficult. I don't remember ever feeling the need to pray to accomplish my goal. But then, I'm a different person now than I was back then when I started this journey. I now know that it isn't about me at all, and it certainly isn't about the chocolate. God doesn't care if I eat chocolate or drink beer at all, but He does care if I'm taking care of the body that He's given me, and He cares whether I'm giving Him the attention throughout my days that I've been blessed with. Going back to Matthew Kelly, he talks about instead of giving up something trivial that may or may not help us be healthier for a little while, we should tackle something that will be a game changer in our life or our spirituality, something that will have a significant impact in our lives or the life of someone around us. I believe that to make the best use of this opportunity, we should not give up something that we fully intend to return to at the end of the season, but instead to focus on a habit that we permanently want to change, whether it be spending more time in the Word, eating healthier, taking a break from social media, putting an end to our habit of gossiping, or some other thing that could really change our life for the long term. Or maybe it's something even larger than that for you. Maybe it's letting go of a habit that has been keeping you from reaching the dreams you have in your life, or picking up a habit of beginning every day in the Word and spending a quiet time with Jesus and inviting Him to take a role in your day. There are so many ways you could substantially improve your life, one tiny step at a time. But you do have to take that first step. God has called us to so much more than we are living today. Our journey is intended to be a continual process of letting go of the bad in our lives so that we can make room for all the good He has created us to live. Not good as in more things, but more joy, more love, more kindness, more of Him. As a result of this perspective, I was really inspired to go a lot deeper with the 90-day challenge I had started the 1st of February. I've been trying to eat cleaner and eliminate a lot of foods that our bodies really don't know how to process. I've done pretty well with it, but I've definitely stumbled a few times along the way using the same excuses I've given myself over and over again through the years. But then, when I heard Mr. Kelly talking about how God is calling us to do things with a great intentionality, I realized that I was trying, but I wasn't being very intentional about it. I was only committed to the extent that it was easy and convenient. But Jesus didn't take the easy and convenient route for me. How hard would it be to make some extra sacrifices to show Him how committed I can be? And then when I know I'm about to stumble, instead of making excuses, I pray to Him for strength to stand in my commitment, to pray that prayer over and over again if need be. And not only when I'm tempted to eat something that isn't healthy for my body, but also when I'm tempted to eat when I'm not hungry. Temptation comes in so many forms when it comes to taking care of ourselves. It can be eating junk food. It can be eating when we're not hungry. It can also be being overly restrictive and chastising ourselves when we allow ourselves a little grace when we do stumble. It's not about being militant or perfect. It's about being obedient, but being obedient to God. So ask Him what it is that He wants you to change. If it's chocolate, then so be it. But don't choose that just because that's what everyone else is doing. Choose it because it will make a true impact on your life. You see, for me, it's been about doing something that I've convinced myself I couldn't do, that I had to resign myself to this extra weight and sleepless nights because I couldn't give up some of the things I really enjoy. It didn't occur to me to look at the times where I'm tempted as an opportunity to stand firm in a commitment that I've made and to tell the devil to take a hike. That with Jesus by my side, I can withstand his temptation and hold my head high, not from anything I've done on my own, but because I've asked for help that is available to me at all times, if only I ask. I felt very convicted by this message, and I realized how important it is for me to obey when God whispers in my ear to do something. So as of this week, I'm starting over. I'm going to continue my challenge, not only to see how healthy I can get, but to see how obedient I can be. How about you? Is God calling you to a change? Is He asking you if your plan is your plan or His plan? If you aren't sure, pray about it and ask Him. As Matthew Kelly said, maybe He's asking you to change. Not to be so rigid, because sometimes we need to change midstream to follow God's plan, to be the best person we can be, or, as I prefer to say, to live our more. You see, it's not about the chocolate at all. It's about becoming a better person, one day at a time. I'd love to know what you are inspired to give up or to take on as a result of this message. Send me a message or leave me a comment. And if you know someone who could benefit from hearing this, please share it with them. It could be the best gift that you could give them today. And if you're really serious about making a big change in your life, you may want to consider joining the Living Your Faith Mastermind community. Registration for this incredible initial opportunity closes on March 15th, so apply today and see if it's what you need to help you stay on track with being the best person you can be in your work and your home life. You can find out more about it at vannajohnson.com/mastermind. Thank you for stopping by today. I know your time is valuable, and I appreciate you listening. I truly believe that it's time that we as a society look at the amazing gifts we've been given and take them seriously. Gifts like God's Word and our church community and the absolute forgiveness that we get to receive over and over again. If you like this show and you haven't already, please subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Thanks again for stopping. Go, be blessed, and live your more.